Sorry about that. I literally didn't think that I was gonna cough. I didn't. But no, it actually isn't no buts. This is so amazing the way just how today worked itself out. But before we get into the swing of things, into the nitty gritty, into just the goodness of what YouTube is all about, big ups to YouTube, big ups to all the other different streaming platforms out there, especially when it comes to podcasts and just people being people. This is what you gotta have to love and appreciate about the world that we live in. Welcome to it. This is another episode of Let's Chat with Calvin ThatRadioGuy Lambo. After a whole whopping, I think 2 year hiatus, 2 year break, because the I think I started the channel in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. But then I didn't understand what was going to happen in terms of in my life. So there was a pause sometime there. And truth be told, now when I think about it, it's what is said on the thumbtack, on the thumbnail, or whatever it's called, okay? Please do the things that you need to do that we all love to do on other channels, and this is what keeps us going. Please press like, share the video, and do subscribe, and also across all the other different DSPs when it comes to podcast platforms. Press follow. I was looking on Spotify for creators the other day, and I was like, this is amazing. As much as it's not a huge growth, but 2 weeks ago, I looked at my followers on the audio version of this podcast. And today, when I looked at it, I was like, hey, man, I gained 2 new followers. So big ups to that. And I think one of the most amazing things that they do there, they don't actually show you who the followers are. You know, you just see the numbers. And one of the things that I strongly believe in day after day, all right, just needed to ensure that the thing is in. It was looking a bit, how can I put it, look like it's not properly connected. But, yeah, it's connected. Yeah, man. So I took a bit of a break, in terms of some of the last videos that I posted on my YouTube channel. And I realized that they all happened after I made a certain promise to myself. And like it said in the thumbnail, that I think my suicide attempts were, I don't want to say the best thing ever to happen to me, no. Because that wasn't. Because I always think to myself, what if I succeeded? You know? I just needed to grab my drink there. What if I succeeded? Because the last one, as I mentioned, time and time again, was back in 2020. And then everything that happened, 2023, 2024, and right now, because today, it being the 4th of October. I'm going to post this later, so obviously it's going to be later. But today was the day when dude walked in work where I work, and he was like, yo, I'm a palm reader. And I'm like, all right, so let me see what this guy's about, you know? If he is going to, once again, just say those normal keywords that we all know mediums are all about, so palm readers, clairvoyants, people who can tell you about your past and your present and your future. So everything that this guy said today, I was like, what the hell? Okay. Hmm. And he was specific with certain things, right? Especially the one where he mentioned to me that I'm a voice for the voiceless. The only place where I ever remember myself typing those words was on Facebook. And I deleted Facebook and deactivated my accounts in 2022. And ever since, I've never gone back. In 2022, where was I again? Oh, yes, that was the time when I was still unemployed, um, living with my ex. Not, and she was my ex at the time in 2022 because we'd broken up in 2020. So I was living with my ex, and then I was living with my friend. Um, didn't have a proper solid relationship with my family. Um, and then that's when I deleted Facebook. So when this guy mentions those words of you are a voice for the voiceless, you are a creative, you are a person who thrives under pressure. I was like, huh, you don't know me. And this guy didn't even ask for my name, right? And he told me that he's from India. Okay, again, because I'm a huge skeptic. So this guy was saying a lot of things that made sense, and then throughout the entire day, the one thing that has been, playing in my mind, back in my head, as much as I was at work and we were busy and we're having, a very productive day, I have been pondering on this idea for the entire year. Actually, if I have to be honest with you, the idea came into mind last year in November when I was in Pretoria, Tshwane, in Social Move, staying with my grandmother, right? And I happened to be reading a book by Neil Yobert on Whitey Passon. It's called Whitey, right? And then after that, I reread Leaders Eat Last. And then I also read Think and Grow Rich, obviously by Napoleon Hill. And as I was reading all of these books, I was like, no, man, let me just tell my story of where I am right now at that moment, because again, unemployed like millions and millions of South Africans find themselves in this situation, right? And each and every single day, you just think to yourself that I just need to keep on finding that motivation to continue, to wake up tomorrow, to get out of bed and not actually just be sleeping, but to get out of bed and do something. So for me now, as Calvin Sbusiso Mlambo, um, over the years, especially from 2018, yeah, 2018, have to be honest with you, from 2018 till about last year, I can honestly say those were for now, some of the biggest challenges that I faced in my life, because it was both on a professional level and also personal level, which I intend on sharing with you each and every time with each and every upload. Because what I've come to notice is there's a lot of things that we see online that's mainly focused on just the destructiveness of humanity, of humankind. If it's not the whole men versus women, it's race versus race, it's religion versus religion, it's tradition versus tradition, it's this versus that. And I'm like, fuck all of that. Because, guys, life is so beautiful. Today, that palm reader, as he wrote his name, and I thought that he's going to write his name, he literally just wrote Happy Priest. I happen to work at a play venue. We specialize in airsoft, gel blaster, those type of thing. I'm not going to mention the company that I work for because they haven't paid me for this. But I've got a job, right? And I got this job in I came for the interview in March, and then I got called in April, late April, because the interview was also early. I think it was on the 4th of March. And then the call came in like a month and a half later, because I was expecting the call to come in before Easter weekend, but it didn't. So yeah, it came in late April, and then in May, I was already came back up to Joburg, and then yeah, ever since then. So yeah, let's say May, June, July, August, September, October, literally my 6 month of working right now, after sitting at home for close to a year. Yeah, close to about a year and a half to 2 years. Because I don't want to lie to you. When I worked at the Jewish community radio station, um, it wasn't nice. It really wasn't nice, because I was getting paid peanuts. It was worse than, my first 3 years of radio, being in radio. Um, and in the past year, I've been thinking about maybe I must try and find a new career path to focus on. But then I thought to myself, no, man, that's not what I'm meant to do. Because if I've been pushing and have been on radio for the first 11 years, consistently, each and every year, being on radio, and then from 2019 till present, till right now, I haven't been able to have something that was secure according to my standards. Because on Trans Africa Radio, which was in 2020, was it 2021? Yeah, that was a shit time in my career. And I thought that I'm never gonna find anything worse than this. Until, as I say, that radio station. And I was like, yo, okay. I sent demos, and then the demos, nothing comes of it. There was, interest from literally one of the biggest radio stations in South Africa, but I haven't heard anything from them as yet. So I'm not going to lose hope, right? Because one of the things that I'm going to do moving forward on this channel, because I'm gonna post at least once a week. All right, so I'm not gonna want to stretch myself because job wise, right now, I often get home late. I've been paying attention for the past 2 weeks that as much as I knock off at 7 o'clock or at 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock on a Friday, 7 o'clock during the week, and 5 o'clock on Sundays, it usually takes me about an hour and a half minimum to get back home because I use public transport. So after a long day at work, I maybe may not, have the energy to want to record, but I'm still gonna record, right? And I thought to myself that I'm gonna do it story format wise because that's what I did, in the beginning when I started this channel. Because I'm still a believer of keeping it real, of keeping it 100. And I can honestly say that from what I've been seeing people doing on YouTube, especially South African content creators, um, yeah, you know what? We are on the right track. We honestly are. You know, I don't want to say we are behind. No, we're not. As much as people can be on some, hey, can they stop making podcasting equipment so affordable because every Tom, Dick, and Harry is starting a podcast? Nothing wrong with that because people have got a story to tell. Now, the question is, do you want to listen to your story? Do people want to listen to my story? I don't know. So, can we not judge one another? Can we not do that whole thing of who cares? Somebody does. Somebody usually does out there, right? Because at the end of the day, as human beings, we all have our own unique stories to tell. So, as I was saying right now, that it's October, and ever since my suicide attempt, my last one back in 2020, one of the things that I have been focusing on for the longest time is my mental health. Honestly speaking, it is the most important thing that any person in this world can do for themselves. And that is to always think of yourself. Some might say that you are selfish. Hey man, it's okay to be selfish every now and again. Some might say you are self-centered. So unless you are a twin or triplet or anything above that, the rest of us came into this world, not alone, because obviously when you were born, there was everybody else around you. But if you were in the womb all by yourself, you basically, came into this world on your own. So trust you me, the most important person in the world is you and yourself. So it took me about 35 years to figure that out. I'm 36 right now. But for 35 years, I got to a point where I would think of others before myself, right? And it all literally got changed last year. It must have been on the 24th or 25th of November when I got a call from an amazing lady, right? Her name is Tyler. I won't mention her surname because, obviously popular acts, but her name is Tyler. And I happened to have read the news on the radio show, as I've mentioned to you, the radio station right now, the last one that I was working on, community radio station, um, which was so horrible. But I was working with her dad, and her dad is a well-respected news broadcaster, journalist, reporter, news writer, and all of that. And the first thing that he did when he called me, he was like, "Yo, Calvin, are you still around Gauteng?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm still around." He was like, "Okay, sweet. So my daughter's working on this project. I think it's for a radio advert that she just wants, somebody with a great voice. So I recommended you. She's gonna call you in about 10 or 15 minutes or so." And I was like, "Okay, no problem." 5 minutes later, daughter calls. "Hey Calvin, how's it going? My dad gave me your number and told me that you're a voiceover artist. Uh, I'm working on a project for Netflix." Yeah, I was like, "What the hell? Are you for real?" So she's like, "Yeah, no. First and foremost, of course, before we say anything further, can you please send me a sample of your voice work, and then we'll take it from there." And I jumped straight on it. Record. And the nice thing about what I love about voiceover work is that they send you the script. So she sent me the scripts and recorded a voiceover on my phone, actually, without using this microphone. On my phone, and then with the microphone as well. And I sent it to her. And she gets back to me like within 30 minutes and was like, "Yo, my producers love you. Come on through. We are going to record with you. But I have to send you an NDA first." I'm like, "Okay, no problem. I don't mind. This is how much we pay." Sharp. Sign the NDA, go through to the studios in Randburg, 4th of December, 2024. I'll never forget this. Recording was at 4 p.m. I was there, no, it was at 5 p.m. actually. I was there at 4 p.m. and we quickly recorded. It took all of 35 minutes. Or was it 20 minutes? Between 20 and 35 minutes. And yeah. And after that, the only thing that I had to do was to shut the fuck up. Literally. Shut the hell up until they advertised this program, this show on Netflix, that hey, season 2 is out. And I'm like, thank you, Lord. I even waited for a day after the show got released because only then could I say anything about it. And I was like, yo, and I only posted this on WhatsApp. And then 2 days later, I posted it on my stories on Instagram, where I was like, guys, I did a voiceover for Fatal Seduction Season 2 on Netflix. On Netflix. Ah. Wow. And you know what? This is on the back of my very first voiceover that went on to South African television, which was Skeem Sam on SABC 1 in 2023. And that was also on the back of a guy who I had met at the complex that my friend was staying at. Remember when I mentioned to you that in 2022 didn't have such a great year with my family? Because yeah, I don't know there's another young lady that I met who was telling me the story about her and how her mom kicked her out of the house. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Baby girl, first son, my mom kicked me out of the house. I was 19. It was literally the year after matric, but obviously it didn't last for long. I think that lasted for about maybe a week. And then the longest time where I didn't speak to my mom was for about a year. I can't even remember which year that was, but it was also quite horrible. So as she's telling me all of these stories, I'm just thinking to myself again that in 2022, I was again in that situation of not speaking with my family, the people who are the most important in my life. And I relied on the kindness of a friend of mine whom I've been friends with for more than 23 years. And she was there. And through her and her work at the time, I got to be friends with this one person. And we started talking and talking and talking and talking. So one day, he's like, yo, we are looking for a voiceover artist. We're introducing this new aspect onto the show that I'm working on. And he asked me to send him a voice note, which I did. And then he passed that voice note over to, the powers that be. And the powers that be were like, we definitely like this voice. And I went on to record a voiceover, and from that voiceover, I was asked to do an audition tape, which I did, and they liked it, and they gave me the freaking role, guys. Do you understand? I sit back right now, and I'm like, this time, because it's the 4th of October. This time, 2 years ago, I was already in bed because I come back from an entire 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. shooting day, being part of a soapy. I was like, is this my life? Up until I actually was sitting down and watching myself on TV, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. If you had sliced 2 more times, just like how the doctor told me, because my last, unaliving myself, as it goes here on the YouTube streets, I sliced my wrists. But I don't know if you can see it. And on this one as well. And I chose to keep the scars and not get tattoos over them because these are my daily reminders that never do that to yourself again. Never do that. Because if I did, that would have been in 2020. And I would have never been on Skim Sam. I would have never recorded a voiceover for a show on Netflix. And right now, where I am in my life, I know that things can only get better. Because whatever bad shit can come my way, I've been given more than enough opportunities to prepare myself and to have the tools that I need to overcome bad times. Because guys, I don't want to lie to you. Not talking to your mom, not talking to my mom for about 14 months wasn't nice. Not being able to have a chat with my sister. Okay, no, my sisters always talk, man. See, that's the thing that, as I once often tell people as well, that one of the things that you can do is to have more than one kid. at least give your kids a friend that they'll have for the rest of their lives. We all have heard of sibling rivalry, guys. I've had sibling rivalry, but it's never been a horrible thing, because the one thing that you do when you wake up, your sisters, your brother, they tell you it's okay. You owe me an apology, and you better fucking apologize to me. And you do, and vice versa. So I have that relationship with my siblings, but during the times when I wasn't speaking to my mom, it was hard. It was very, very hard. But my sisters were there, right? And my sisters were there, my friends were there, and everybody that I needed. Okay, the only person who's being a dick right now is my brother. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not gonna sugarcoat any fucking thing, because when I look back right now, I appreciate the fact that everything and everybody else in my life so far has never sugarcoated anything. That's why if you come at me and you want to treat me with kitty's gloves, I am going to be offended. I'm going to be so offended, because I'm like, stop bullshitting me. Tell me what it is. Because everybody else has always been honest with me. So, my own attempts at my own life was as a result of not having the skills and the resources, and also the whole thing of just thinking that, hey, I was born alone, I'm gonna die alone, I live alone, I must face my own problems on my own, because everybody's eyes, has their own problems. Yes, that is true. That's true. That's why I also don't like being a nuisance to people. But then, what so happened after, the ones who often ask about, Calvin, what drove you to suicide? And then I open up to them. They understand. They like, okay. Thank you. And then moving forward, we have a way closer relationship. But sometimes that also allows people to sort of like have this whole thing of, yeah, but why do you try to kill yourself? Things can get better. Some of us have kids, some of us have husbands or wives, and all of that other nonsense. I'm like, you see? Now there's the difference between, what they are saying and what I am saying. Because for me, that attempt in 2020, I was 31. Yeah, I was 31 in 2020. I just lost my job. I just broken up with my girlfriend at the time. I didn't have a proper solid relationship with my mom and my sisters at the time. Let me think what was going on. My guy friends, slowly but surely, were, that whole thing where they talk about when days are dark, friends are few type of thing. A lot of them were falling into that category of not wanting to take my calls, not wanting to respond to texts. So a lot of shit was actually, getting to me. And I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And this is where, as I'm saying, the biggest fuck up was on my side. I was blaming myself. I was blaming myself, not forgiving myself, judging myself to the largest extent. When I look back, I'm like, nah, dude, you know what? If I had picked up a book back then instead of, drinking, things could have worked out better. And as much as we all have regrets in life, I'm still a believer of that whole thing of, can people stop saying, learn from my mistakes, learn from my mistakes? Listen, bro, I don't want to lie to you. They were your mistakes to make. How in the world am I going to learn? Okay, I know that sounds very stupid, right? But here's the thing. And if I can make an example per se, if I can make an example with this, because I've seen it play out before me in front of my eyes. Guy friends, machita, ne? You'll have the one friend who's got a solid girlfriend, wifey material, whatever as they may call it. She's good for him. She is also amazing as a human being. Yet, your bitch ass of a friend will be cheating on her left, right, and center. I won't say that he's mistreating her. Nah. Treats her like a princess. But now the thing is, there's maybe 3 or 4 others that are receiving similar treatment from your boy. And this guy brings all of them around to you guys as in chilling. So you know that, okay, that's side chick 1, side chick 2, side chick 3, side chick 4. But then there's main one. Sometimes it's not even a matter of girlfriend, it's a matter of fiance, it's a matter of wife. But as much as that, we keep quiet about it. Because, hey man, it's what he does. And you don't call him out. I'm not about that. Trust you me, I've lost friends because I called them out on their bullshit. And they were like, Calvin, you're not a father. Calvin, you're not a husband. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Hey, listen, I don't want to lie to you. Mina, if I was married, I wouldn't be posting. I wouldn't be talking the shit that most husbands talk about. Yet you know, Uguti Wena, you've got a young harem, if that's what it's called. You've got other girls on the sides, yet you've got a wife. Listen, when it comes to girlfriends and everything like that, if you want to cheat, do you. We've all done our fair share of cheating. I've cheated. I'm sure 90% of the people that will watch this have cheated as well. It's not a nice feeling because you actually feel so dirty afterwards. You need to be ashamed of yourself. Where others, they do, others, they don't. Whatever rocks your boat. So, where was my train of thought going to anyway? I'm just trying to remember. Okay. Oh yes, relationship, sugarcoating. Yes, nobody ever sugarcoated anything to me. And over the years, I was very tough on myself. I bottled everything up. I never spoke out to the point where I'll often say that I'd rather hurt myself than hurt those close to me. I'm not saying that I never did, you know. One of the things that we often do as human beings, as men and women, is we never take accountability something that I have been hearing from a lot of people. But they say everybody else is speaking about it in the wrong tone. Everybody speaks about it that, yeah, men never want to take accountability, and men say the same thing about women. Guys, can we stop making this whole man versus woman bullshit? We are just human beings. That's what we are. Own up to your shit. If you're a fucked up human being, be a fucked up human being. Just let everybody know that, hey, listen, I'm this type of person. And trust you me, nobody's gonna wanna hold you up to a certain standard. But that's what we do in society. I mean, they here in SA, here on YouTube, there are so many channels where guys want to judge ladies and ladies want to judge guys. And I'm like, jeez, guys, are you fucking kidding me? You know, I'm going to touch on so many of people that I believe just need to sometimes take a look in the mirror and be like, who the fuck do I think I am to want to deliver judgments on other people, on ladies, on men, on, single mothers, single fathers, divorcees, widowed people, you know, because everybody always gets classed. And that's what I don't like, when you want to put people in categories. Listen, if you're going to put me in a category, good for you. Just know that I have not placed myself in a category. So whatever category that you've put me in, good for you. Good for you. That is not what I think of myself. All right. Again, I'm just looking forward to the future, because the future is so amazing. But at the same time, we are going to have to turn the mirror onto ourselves and take a deep look inside and ask ourselves again one question as to, what am I doing to make the world a better place? Hey, I've got a YouTube channel. Watch my YouTube channel. Learn something. Okay, shut the fuck up. First and foremost, why must I learn from you? Let me know. Tell me as to, what is it about your life story that will bring about change into my life and to the lives of others? Because at the end of the day, I say that I often think that that's what most of us want to do. We want to bring about change into our own lives and into the lives of others. And if you don't want to, guess what? It's absolutely fine. There's no need to judge yourself. There's no need to judge others. All I'm going to say is that you are a child of Africa. Because I'm a child of Africa, born on the African continent. Today at work, there was this one kid who asked me, "Gucci, dude, are you South African?" And I was like, "What the hell are you talking? What do you mean?" It's like, "You don't sound South African." I'm like, "I am South African. I'm Swati. My mom and my dad, boy too, Maswati. My aunt, my entire family from my father's side, that I recently discovered as of last year, July, to where I am right now, is that my family on my father's side is big. We are many, because my grandfather, no, my great grandfather had two wives, three wives, I think three or two. So yeah, there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us. And on my mother's side, yeah, my mom's the last surviving sibling from her siblings. There were seven of them, six have passed away. She's the only one left. And then I look at myself and my siblings. I've got three siblings from my mother's side, my brother and my two sisters. And then I've got three siblings from my father's side, my three sisters. So all in all, I've got six siblings. Amazing. Love all my siblings. I love all of them. So yeah, at the end of the day, guys, life is beautiful. And to think that I wanted to end it all, I'm just imagining that I have written 3 suicide notes, right? 2 of them I think I burned or threw away, and then the one that I wrote in a diary but never tore the pages out. Um, the Somebody found it. My ex found it, and she told me about this like I think years later, because that one was like in 2016, and she only told me about this in 2022 to be like, yo, dude, I actually found your suicide notes back then. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, yo, sorry about that. But as I say, I'm still here. So, I'd like to invite you along on this journey. I'm a storyteller. My life so far has been amazing. Ups and downs. I'm going to tell you about a time when I walked from Pretoria to Johannesburg. I've already told you about how I landed on TV. I've mentioned before on how I got onto radio. I'm going to tell you about a time when I got a call, or no, I actually made the call after being called by a person that I thought was going to be my wife, where she called, when your partner gets caught or when you catch your partner cheating, and you tell them go to call that other person and tell them go to it's over. Hey guys, I kid you the fuck not. That is one of the stupidest things that any fucking person can do. Like, yeah, call that person right now. Ubatshele ukuthi kuphelile lamasimba endleni wendayo. Hey man, why? Why are you doing that? Stop being an idiot. But yeah, that shit happened to me, and actually it was about 2 months ago. It's still pretty fresh. But I won't tell you about that. I'm going to tell you about how my baby sister won a provincial, beauty pageant. I'm going to tell you about everything, basically. Because at the end of the day, what I've come to realize, especially today, although maybe that guy from India might have been a charlatan, I don't know. I don't care. All I know is that he came in, said he's a palm reader, and I was like, okay, let's see what this shit is about. It didn't cost me a single cent. And he said basically everything that now, when I look back, I'm like, Yeah, Calvin, angazi ukuthi yini inkinga yakho. Kose uze kufike umuntu wase-India, all the way from India, to come and tell you that, nigga, stop doubting yourself. You're good enough. I mean, what else must happen? Because I'm also still that person that keeps on raising the bar. I mean, after Netflix, now I told myself that, okay, I'm aiming for this one next. I'm aiming for that. Haha, I'm not going to tell you what it is. Because once people know what your plans are, they have the chance to fuck it up. So I'm not going to do that. But I've raised the bar for myself. So with me raising that bar, I just need to be patient with myself again. I need to stop judging myself. So, hey, if you want to come along for this journey, of which I'm like, trust you me. Yeah, you're gonna want to join this. And by the way, if you're wondering, as I was saying on Fatal Seduction, episode 5, there's this other part where it goes on. I can't remember which, I think it's about 17 minutes or 18 minutes into it. It's like, good morning, Cape Town. This is 7 FM. Yeah. Yo, how else does it go? Now I forgot about it. Like, yo, good morning, Cape Town. If you're missing your family, yeah, that's about it. And then, what was it on Skim Sam? I was also a news bulletin. But then, yeah, guys, I just sit back right now. I'm like, Calvin, Inza Antoine, why do you do this to yourself? So I'm going to stop doing this. And if you, by any chance, happen to be the very same person that sometimes you suffer from imposter syndrome, you suffer from the whole I'm not good enough, I don't belong here, maybe you can join me on this journey. Leave a comment down below and let's chat, because that is what this channel is about. Not going to be about bashing people, not going to be about talking about people's businesses. Guys, I literally have no fucking time to waste about who's sleeping with who has done what, who is doing this, who's divorcing who, and nah. There are already people who are doing that. They want to focus on that. Big ups to that. I'm not going to claim to be some self-help guru, because no, first and foremost, I don't like gurus. I don't like motivational speakers. I don't like those people, guys. Like, get the fuck out of here. But they there, okay? they there. And people love them. So yeah, let's continue having this chat. Thank you so much for indulging me. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Please do remember to like, to share, and to subscribe. And before you know it, just like everybody else will tell you, road to 100, road to 1,000, road to 5,000, road to 10,000, road to... We'll get there, all right? We will get there. You will let me know, road to what is it that we are going to do? Because, hey, that's what the algorithm is all about. That is what YouTube is all about. My name is Calvin, that radio guy Mlambo. Nimfana wase nasporti, embombela. Yeah, let me stop saying good singing fana, man, because yeah, I'm a boy. No. Young man from Nelspruit, doing my Josie hustle, because I've always loved Johannesburg. And yeah, that's where I currently am right now. I'm in Joburg, in Roodepoort. It's going to be an amazing journey. So thank you for joining me. And thank you for your time. And remember, child of Africa, you are amazing. And I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.